Okay, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to do Rapid Sketch. For starters, you know that the inspections with exterior observation and measurement on it is the only ones that you use to actually do Rapid Sketch. What you do, and you already know that you need to take the address, put it in the property list, and then once you pull it up in the Miami-Dade County property list, you go to the bottom, you see the building sketch, and you pull up the building sketch. So anyway, once you identified an inspection that needs floor plan sketch, what you do is you come down the left-hand side here, and you go to Rapid Sketch. You click on Rapid Sketch, and it'll pull up this screen right here, which is your grid for drawing. Some of the basic things I want to point out, this is just a very basic, but this will cover 99%, or excuse me, this will cover the vast majority of the sketches that you do. First thing is the actual cursor and the mouse. When you want to make a sketch, you left click on the mouse wherever you want to start the sketch at. And remember, the sketch always start with the front door down at the bottom of the screen. So a lot of times most people start on the northeast corner of the sketch. Let's say for instance you're looking at this sketch right here, and you got 28 and then 25, so you got 28 going across the top there and 25 going down, then 29, that's 29 or 23. So if you were going to make that, you would go up here, you would left click with your mouse, and then you'd pull it out until you got to the number 28. Now it's going to try to help you stay straight by giving you a bright green line when everything is straight. If you get off, it'll give you a dark green until you slide back into something that's straight. And then you left click on it again, and it'll stop right there. Now if you move the mouse from here, the cursor will bring you into a new line automatically. However, if you left click it again, you can actually move the cursor off of that line and allow that line to be there and go and actually make a drawing somewhere else. Another way to make a drawing is to actually type in the number. I think the next number was 25. So you type in the number, or in this case let's say for example 25, and then you use the arrow key down to get the cursor to move down, and that's another way to make straight lines on the Rapid Sketch. And what you do is you press enter to lock it in, and that's the same as left clicking your mouse, and then you can make your new line from there. If you move your mouse, obviously when this is red, if you move your mouse, it'll make a new line. And so you can, once again, you can move your mouse like so and make a new line. Another thing to keep in mind is when you make these drawings, you want to save them. And so you save it just like you would save anything else on the program by going to Save Form and saving it. It's important that you save the form before you leave the page, because if you leave the page for some reason and you don't save the form, like for instance clicking on these pictures to get a closer look at what's there to do a better sketch, what happens it usually is when you go back, the sketch is no longer there. At least it was happening before. They may have fixed that bug, but that's normally what happens, and if they haven't fixed that, it will happen in the future. So it's important once you make a sketch to save the form. You can scroll up and down on the pictures on the right hand side here, but in general a lot of times I find that if I click on that picture and it goes to this background screen where you can't see the sketch anymore, once I exit out of that, that sketch is not there. It's here this time, but a lot of times it's not there. A couple of these icons that I want to mention on the left hand side. Number one, when you start Rapid Sketch, there's a good chance that you'll see this right here. All of that that's just a list of the different labels that's available. It comes from this button right here. In order to give yourself more space, most people just click off that, because there's another way to label, and that's this button right here. It's a note tool, and what the note tool does, if you click on it, and anywhere you put that note tool, it allows you to make a note. You just center it wherever you want to make the note, and it allows you to make a note wherever you want to, and then you just click off of it and the note is there. Also, you have the next important tool. First of all, the tool that gives you the cross arrows is this wall tool. It's called the wall tool, and that's what allows you the ability to draw on the grid. Another important button here is the undo and the redo button. With the undo button, you basically can erase mistakes or things that you've done if you want to change it, or you can redo them. So that's what these two buttons are for. This button right here is called center and fit, and what it allows you to do, it allows you to center your drawing in the middle of the page. This button right here is the zoom tool, and what you do is you click on that button, and when you bring it into the page, it'll either increase the size or decrease the size. I use the mouse to roll it so that you actually have more space, and also you have a slider right here on the right hand side, and that allows you to increase or decrease the space. So if you have a large drawing that you have to make, you can actually click this tool and it'll increase the space that you have. Once again, the main tool is the wall tool, which is the one that actually lets you make the drawing. And one thing about the cursor, if you need to, not too much, but there's often enough, you'll need to make angular lines on the drawing. And when you have that, I don't know any way that you can use the arrows, typing in a number in the arrows. So it's good to have the wall tool and use the cursor to make angles, because sometimes you may have to do a 45-degree angle. You know, it may be a porch or a corner because it's something that's not normal, and you have to describe it in angular terms. And so that's how you do it. So, and once again, you save the form by going over here and clicking save. There are some other tools in here, but those are your main ones: your wall tool, your undo and redo buttons, your center and fit, your note tool down here. If you have any questions, feel free to call me and I'll explain the rest, but that should be enough in basic to get you through what you need to do for the vast majority of the building sketches, because most of them are fairly simple like this. They're usually very square and fairly simple. Also, one other thing I want to mention to you before we end this training is, for instance, if you have, let's say you have a place, you have a home that you're sketching, and that's the first story slab is the basic. This first story slab is the basic of every home. That means that that's the foundation that the home is built on. And so every time you make a picture, this whole picture, most of this picture is describing a first story slab. So that's what you're going to put. But let's say that there's a porch. Now remember, this bottom part represents the front side of the house. So let's say there's a porch at the back side of the house. What happens is, when you draw this porch, you make the dimensions. Now sometimes you have to actually go over the line that you just drew, and sometimes it'll just pop up once you connect back to the building. But whether you have to make the whole porch, draw the whole dimension of the porch, or whether it connects back to the building, this will pop up again, and you have these different drop down menus for what's out there. For instance, if you have a deck, which you're not going to see too many of, mostly what you're going to see is garages, and you understand the definition of attached and built in. You'll have mostly attached garages. You can place it there, you put attached, and they'll put 1 car, 2 car, and that's just a form of labeling. Also, you have the porches here, and they'll say, like, for instance, most of them are going to be open porches. And so you'll have your open porch here, but then at the same time you may have a screen porch. And so if you have a screen porch, you simply put in screen porch, and it'll come up screen porch. If you have a garage, you'll put in garage. Basically, you just use that to label. And so this right here, all of these basic things will get you pretty much through most building sketches that you need. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Okay.